Be me, 24, female, finishing my master's in gender and sexuality studies. My entire worldview is filtered through a lens of critical theory, intersectionality, and the inescapable dynamics of the patriarchy. My friends are the same. We live in an echo chamber lined with Judith Butler quotes and organic cotton tote bags. Our conversations are about dismantling systems, emotional labor, the male gaze, and how problematic literally everything is. My thesis is titled The Digital Panopticon, Weaponized Incompetence and Patriarchal Performance in Modern Heterosexual Courtship Rituals. Basically, I argue that dating apps are a microcosm of patriarchal oppression. Men hold all the cards, putting in zero effort while women perform a desperate song and dance for their validation. My professor, a woman named Dr. Anya Sharma, who wears exclusively black turtlenecks, tells me the thesis is promising, but lacks a certain empirical grit. She says I need something to elevate it, a unique data set, a novel methodology. The idea hits me during a late-night session of doom-scrolling feminist TikTok, a social experiment, an infiltration. I will go undercover. I will experience the male privilege of online dating firsthand. I will create a profile as a man and document the fire hose of attention. The low-effort, high-reward dynamic I just know exists for even the most mediocre of men. This is going to be the explosive centerpiece of my thesis. I'm practically vibrating with academic excitement. Phase 1, the creation of Kevin. I need a subject, a perfectly painfully average man, not a Chad. That would skew the data. I need to prove that even the most baseline male specimen has it easier than 99% of women. I spend a week creating the perfect avatar of mediocrity. Name, Kevin. Solid, dependable, utterly forgettable. Age 26, old enough to have a job, young enough to not be creepy. Photos. This is the tricky part. I can't use a friend's pics. I dive into the murky world of royalty-free stock photos and AI-generated faces. I find a site that lets you blend faces. I mix a picture of a generic white-collar office worker with a guy holding a fish and a man laughing alone with salad. The result is uncanny. Kevin looks like someone you've seen 1,000 times but never actually met. Slightly asymmetrical face, weak chin, but a kind, vacant smile. He exists in a quantum state of being both everywhere and nowhere. Perfect. I generate 5 photos. Kevin smiling awkwardly at a generic hiking trail viewpoint. Kevin in a slightly too large suit, giving a thumbs up at a conference table. Kevin holding a golden retriever puppy at the ultimate emotional manipulation, I note smugly. Kevin concentrating intensely on a video game, controller in hand, bathed in the blue light of the screen. A blurry group photo where Kevin is the least attractive person. A classic ugly hot friend strategy I've read about. Height 5 feet 10 inches. I look up the average male height and decide to round up by an inch. I hypothesize men do this to signal dominance. I make a note for my thesis. Job, IT, support specialist. Vague, non-threatening, implies a steady income without being intimidatingly ambitious. Bio, this is where I'll lay the trap. I'll make it as low effort as possible to prove my point. Kevin, 26, IT guy. I like hiking, video games, and finding the best tacos in the city. Fluent in sarcasm, looking for a partner in crime. Not on here much. Message me on Insta. A fake Insta. I also populated with pictures of sunsets and his puppy. It's a masterpiece of masculine mediocrity. A beige flag personified. I download Tinder, Hinge, and Bumble. I set the preferences to women, ages 22 to 28 within a 15-mile radius. My hands are trembling slightly as I prepare to go live. I feel like an anthropologist about to make first contact with the lost tribe. I pour a glass of kombucha, open a fresh document for my field notes, and activate Kevin's profiles. Let the privilege begin. Day 1. I wake up giddy. I imagine my phone will be a war zone of notifications. I open the apps, nothing. Not a single match, not a single like. Okay. Patience. The algorithm needs time to warm up. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I spend my morning commute swiping as Kevin. I decide on a simple methodology. Swipe right on every single profile. Every one. This is to purely measure incoming interest, removing my own preferences from the equation. It's for science. I swipe right on hundreds of women. Women with bios that say, don't be boring. Women with 6 photos of them at brunch. Women who list their Venmo for fun. Women whose entire personality is the office and dogs. Women with lists of demands. Be over 6 feet. Have a job. Be able to hold a conversation. Don't be a psycho. psycho, funny, ambitious, likes to travel, I scoff into my notes. The audacity, the sheer performative high standards, knowing they can get away with it in this imbalanced ecosystem. End of day 1. 0 matches on Tinder. 0 matches on Hinge. On Bumble, it shows 1 like. My heart leaps. A data point. I can't see who it is, of course, because Bumble hides them, but still. One person in this whole city found Kevin worthy of a right swipe. I go to bed feeling a tiny bit disappointed, but still scientifically optimistic. Day 3. The 1 like on Bumble has not converted to a match. This means I haven't swiped on her yet. The digital equivalent of ships passing in the night. Still 0 matches on Tinder and Hinge. My field notes are getting sparse. Subject Kevin continues to experience a statistically improbable lack of engagement. Hypothesis. Perhaps the initial profile is too mediocre, falling into an uncanny valley of averageness that repels potential mates. I decide to tweak the bio. Maybe it was too lazy. I rewrite it to be more engaging, using tips I've seen in articles women write telling men how to be better at dating apps. New bio. Just a guy who can fix your Wi-Fi and find the best pad thai in town. My passions include debating whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie and trying to keep my houseplants alive. Looking for someone to join me on my next slightly ill-advised hiking adventure. What's a controversial opinion you hold? I also swapped the blurry group photo for one of AI Kevin laughing at a farmer's market. Much better. This shows personality. It shows vulnerability. It has a call to action. The floodgates will open now for sure. Day 7, end of the first week. Total matches across 3 apps. 2, match number 1. Sophia. Her profile has 1 photo, heavily filtered. Her bio says, new here. Let's chat somewhere else. Link in bio. The link is to an OnlyFans page. Bot unmatched. Match number 2, Isabella, no bio. We match on Tinder at 2 a.m. My heart is hammering. A real person, my first real data point. I have to initiate, of course. Tinder is a man's burden. I craft an opener. I can't be generic. Hey is a death sentence. I know this from my own experience. Me, as Kevin. Hey Isabella, a fellow taco connoisseur I see. What's the best spot you've found so far? She had a picture of a taco in her profile. I wait and wait. 6 hours later she responds. LOL, I don't know. That's it. That's the whole message. My eye twitches. The emotional labor. It's immediate. I am the conversational engine. I have to pull something out of nothing. Me. Ha ha ha. Fair enough. The pressure is on. Well, if you ever need a recommendation, El Fuego has some that will change your life. So what do you do for fun when you're not eating life-changing tacos? I'm being charming. I'm being engaging. I'm giving her material to work with. This is what women say they want. I wait. A full day passes. Isabella has unmatched me. My field notes take on a slightly more agitated tone. The subject, Isabella, displayed classic low engagement tactics, forcing the male-presenting user, Kevin, to perform 100% of the conversational labor. When met with continued good faith effort, the subject disengaged entirely. This suggests a paradox in the stated desires versus actual behavior of female users in the digital courtship space. They demand effort, but do not reciprocate it. I feel a strange hot feeling in my chest. It's not academic curiosity. It feels personal. Month 1. I have fully descended into the swiping abyss. My life now has a background rhythm, the flick of a thumb, the empty dopamine hit of a new match that goes nowhere. My results for the month: swipes, an estimated 10,000 plus. Likes received, 17. Matches, 9. 3 were bots. 1 was trying to sell me crypto. Conversations that went past 3 messages, 2. Number of times I was asked a single question about myself, 0. I've tried everything. I changed Kevin's job to software engineer. I changed his height to 6 feet 1 inch. I added a prompt to his Hinge, a shower thought I had recently. Why do we drive on a parkway and park on a driveway? It doesn't matter. The experience is the same. A gallery of horrors. Matching with someone. Sending a thoughtful, personalized opener based on their profile. Getting a 1-word response 12 hours later. LOL. Hey, cool. It's like trying to play tennis with a brick wall. I'm serving, volleying, running around the court, and the other side is just standing there. MF, did you? I spend 10 minutes crafting a witty message and she replies K. I start to get angry. Genuinely, deeply angry. At my women's circle meeting, my friend Maya is complaining about her Hinge. Ugh, it's so exhausting, she says, sipping her oat milk latte. I got like 50 likes today and they're all so meh. This one guy opened respond with, hey, what's up? Like, put in some effort, you know? I stare at her. A red haze descends over my vision. 50 likes. In one day, I want to scream. I want to grab her and shake her and yell, I am the effort. I am the thoughtful opener. I am the guy asking about your trip to Portugal because I saw it in your photos and you're giving me nothing. Instead, I just nod and say, yeah, the weaponized incompetence is real. My notes for my thesis are becoming unhinged. The digital marketplace creates a dynamic of extreme scarcity for the average male and overwhelming, paralyzing abundance for the average female. This leads to a feedback loop of male desperation and female apathy. The privilege is not in the experience itself, but in the potential for choice, a potential so vast it renders the actual act of choosing meaningless. Women are not oppressed on these apps. They are bored empresses, flicking away suitors with callous indifference. Dr. Sharma would have a stroke if she read this. It sounds less like Judith Butler and more like something from a men's rights subreddit. The thought terrifies me. Month 2, the breakthrough. Her name is Jessica. She matches me on Hinge. She's cute, a nurse, has a picture with a dog that isn't a borrowed puppy prop, and she sends the first message. Jessica, Die Hard is 100% a Christmas movie, no debate needed. I nearly dropped my phone. She read my profile. She engaged with a prompt. She initiated. This is it. This is the one. We start talking, and it's an actual conversation, a real one, back and forth. Questions, jokes. She uses full sentences. I feel a giddy, unfamiliar hope. I'm pouring all of my energy into being Kevin. I'm funny, charming, a great listener. I'm the perfect man I always complained didn't exist. We talk for 3 days. We have a great vibe. Finally, I do it. I ask her out. Me, as Kevin. I'm really enjoying talking to you. I'm probably jumping the gun here, but would you be interested in grabbing a drink sometime next week? The 3 dots appear. She's typing. My whole body is tense. Jessica, I'd love that. But hey, quick weird question, LOL. You seem great, but I've been catfished before. Could you send me a quick pic of you holding up a peace sign or something? Just to verify, haha. Ice in my veins. It's over. It's all over. I stare at the message for an hour. My beautiful data, my perfect experiment. All crashing down. I have no peace sign picture of Kevin, the non-existent, salad-laughing IT specialist. I can't respond. There is nothing to say. 2 days later, a final message from her. Jessica, okay, guess not. Take care. She unmatched me. I didn't just lose a data point. I felt rejected. I, the real me, felt a pang of genuine hurt. I liked talking to her. I wanted to meet her. As Kevin. Oh God, what is happening to me? I throw my phone across the room. I open my thesis document. I stare at the title, Patriarchal Performance. The only one performing here was me. And I failed. I break down sobbing. Not for my thesis, not for feminism, for Kevin, for his empty inbox and his hopeless, soul-crushing quest for a single conversation that goes somewhere. The aftermath. I deleted the apps. I couldn't take it anymore. The experiment was over. The results were conclusive, just not in the way I expected. The male experience on dating apps wasn't a privilege. It was a barren hellscape, a psychological meat grinder, a confidence shredding machine where you are the disposable commodity. I tried to write my thesis. I really did, but the words felt like lies. Every sentence I wrote about male privilege felt hollow. I would type, men benefit from a system that demands female emotional labor. And then I'd have a flashback to begging Isabella to give me a sentence to work with. I would type, the dating sphere is structured around the validation of the male ego. And I'd remember the soul-crushing silence of 1,000 right swipes into the void. I started seeing the world differently. I'd be in a coffee shop and see a guy awkwardly approach a woman. I used to see that as an act of intrusive male confidence. Now I saw the terror in his eyes, the vulnerability, the high probability of getting shot down with a look of disgust. I went on a date myself, a guy from my stats class. He was nice, a little nervous. He asked me questions. He paid the bill. At the end of the night, he walked me to my door and said, I had a really great time. I'd love to do this again. The old me would have analyzed this. He's moving too fast, trying to establish control of the narrative. The new me just saw the raw, terrifying hope on his face. The hope of a man who had probably been ghosted a dozen times that month. The hope of a man just trying to find a connection in the digital abyss. I looked at him, really looked at him, and I said, I'd love that too. I abandoned my thesis. I told Dr. Sharma I was having a mental health crisis and needed to change topics. She suggested something about Foucault and the clinical gaze. I just nodded. I don't go to the women's circle anymore. I can't listen to them complain about having too many boring options. Sometimes late at night, I find myself on forums, not feminist ones, different ones. Forums where guys post screenshots of their empty Tinder profiles. Is it over for me, they ask? They talk about height and jaw lines and canthal tilt. They create complex theories and flowcharts to explain the crushing silence. They call it the black pill. I don't post, I just read. I read their pain and their frustration and their data-driven despair. And I understand. I came to study the rats in the maze. Now I am the rat. I know the shape of the walls. I know the dead ends. I know the profound, deafening silence of waiting for a crumb of cheese that will never, ever come.